Sonic Speed!
Let's talk about Sonic for a while, alright? So, a lot of people are being down on Sonic, mostly due to the Sonic Forces gameplay that was shown in Nintendo's April Direct a couple days ago. You have fans saying the boost gameplay sucks, it was never good. They should just do the adventure-style gameplay instead. And unless you genuinely never preferred the boost gameplay to begin with, even a little bit, I think you need to shut up and think for at least 5 seconds. If you ask me, someone who's played a lot of main Sonic games, I'm genuinely excited for these two games, and yes, that does include Forces. Ever since Sonic Unleashed released in 2008, with its mixed reception, most people would come to the conclusion that the Hedgehog stages sucked, but the daytime stages were the best thing about Unleashed. When Sonic Colors came out in 2010, everyone marked that as Sonic's return to glory, Sonic getting back on track after the abysmal Sonic 06, and again, Sonic Unleashed's mixed reviews. Sonic Generations took what Colors had and put it alongside the return of classic Sonic and his 2D focused gameplay in 2011. All three of these games had the same basic style of gameplay, but each iteration defined it further and further, with Generations nearly perfecting the boost formula. The thing with this formula, however, is that it hasn't really been used to its full potential. Sonic Unleashed had that gameplay, but that was half the experience, with the second half being the Hedgehog. Generations had this issue as well, except classic Sonic's gameplay was the second half instead. Sonic Colors was the game to utilize the boost the most, due to most of the experience being that 3D boost gameplay, except a majority of Sonic Colors takes place in the 2D perspective, underhanding the potential of modern Sonic. Now there are some problems this game has I cannot ignore, but let me say first, like I just said, I'm hyped for Sonic Forces. I cannot wait for that game to drop this Christmas along with Super Mario Odyssey. A top quality true 3D Mario game alongside a promising boost formulated modern Sonic game for Christmas, I'll buy that shit 10 times over, I don't care. But that hype can't overshadow the potential and apparent problems Sonic Forces has. Now I know I just told the fanbase to shut up and listen, but some of the fans' arguments are justified, believe it or not. For one thing, Green Hill Zone is back. The graphic design changed it to having a sandy, desert-esque feel to it, but it's still Green Hill's design in a nutshell, and after seeing its design reused in one way, shape, or form after Sonic 2, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic Heroes, Sonic Generations, Sonic Lost World, and now Sonic Forces, I can get fans' frustration for that regard, and that is justified. The issue I'm describing though with this game is Sega's continuing to rely on nostalgia to milk Sonic for cash. I mean, classic Sonic's coming back in a modern Sonic game while we already have a brand new Sonic game on the way, instilling that classic nostalgic feel while also making the experience modern as well. Generations celebrated the 20th anniversary of Sonic in the form of a milestone celebration, so classic Sonic being introduced there made sense. But when you look at Lost World, in my opinion, it feels like Sega and Sonic Team were trying to combine modern Sonic with a bundle of elements of classic Sonic and his games, as well as Dreamcast/Adventure Sonic. What I mean by this is the Spin Dash came back, which originated from classic Sonic, but was a main move of Sonic and Shadow in the Adventure series. Most of the levels were larger and more expansive than your typical modern Sonic game, and more so like the Adventure games. The boost gameplay disappeared, and the introduction of the parkour mechanic. Most of the levels in Lost World, in terms of level and graphic design, took heavy inspiration from the classic Sonic games, and after Colors and Generations' positive ratings, Lost World created brand confusion within the Sonic franchise. What I mean by brand confusion, which is another issue, is we don't know what modern Sonic the Hedgehog now, we don't know what he's supposed to be. That game caused confusion and a decline in following, due to that game being vastly different from Generations and Colors. Fans thought Sega was set on the boost gameplay as a modern Sonic staple in his gameplay design, especially since Colors and Generations sold very well, and a lot of people loved the boost gameplay, but not resorting to it in Lost World after those three games, using a more experimental style, caused backlash and confusion throughout the Sonic fanbase. That brand confusion is carried further because of the fact that classic Sonic is in Sonic Forces. Hell, even Sonic Boom is to blame for this as well, due to Rise of Lyric, Shatter Crystal, and Fire and Ice's mediocre to piss poor reception. It doesn't matter whether Sonic Boom is a spin-off or not. People treated that as the death of Sonic, as if Sonic 06 happened all over again. Using the Sonic brand did taint Sonic as a whole, especially after Lost World, but even still, it made people dislike Sonic all over again, acting as if all of his other games were similar. Classic Sonic's role in this game could tie in with the story in a more fitting way than we expect, but Sega's not really instilling confidence in themselves by reusing Classic Sonic. Don't get me wrong, Classic Sonic's gameplay in Generations was fun. I love Classic Sonic, but what would including Classic do for modern? Especially when considering Sonic Mania is coming out in a few months. because that just makes Classic Sonic's inclusion all the more confusing. Sonic Mania is a brand new 2D Sonic game bringing Sonic back to his Genesis heyday. That game is an amalgamation of elements of classic Sonic's games into one, but most of the inspiration used for that game is notably from Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Fans of Sonic who grew up in the 90s have this brand new classic Sonic game to get back into and re-experience the Genesis days in a more modern take on classic Sonic in that game. So what purpose does classic Sonic have if he's in both a new classic Sonic game and a brand new modern Sonic game? Classic Sonic can't even be identified as modern's crutch due to the history and nostalgia backing up his inclusion. It doesn't help modern's case since because of his inclusion in Generations, the Werehog and Unleashed, and the vast 2D sections and colors, which is another potential concern for Sonic Forces, modern Sonic hasn't been utilized to his full potential. Sure, his boost gameplay style has been perfected further and further, getting better and better, and has always been fun for most Sonic fans, including myself, but we haven't had a game where modern Sonic and his style of gameplay take up almost a whole game. They've been more so half utilized, and it could be likely it'll be a third utilized in this game. And relying on that nostalgia and history to bring in older classic Sonic fans to a modern Sonic, where newer younger fans will prosper, it's kind of a double-edged sword, and this is another issue. On one hand, it brings the two together, the classic and modern fans, and gives each side a chance to enjoy the other gameplay style. Much like how Generations did, it gives both sides of the fandom to join, interact, and enjoy the game together. But on the other hand, not only was this done in Generations, it kind of encourages the fact that Sonic's fanbase has been diverse and split for a while between classic and modern fans. Bringing in classic Sonic and Green Hill for the 46,853rd time doesn't really help that. Even if Green Hill is a staple, they have multiple other classic stages they could have used, and the pushback with both of these is greater than before. And eroding Sonic's value by looking at this nostalgia and using the past is making it harder to look into Sonic's future. And having that adventure-style Sonic gameplay back wouldn't support that either, because that's also a springboard for nostalgia and wouldn't be that different from including classic Sonic in terms of history and popularity. But then one might think, why not just make a brand new modern Sonic game with strictly the boost? And that isn't as easy as you think. The more you think about it, it kind of makes sense how classic Sonic and this third gameplay style would be in Sonic Forces. Even though modern Sonic hasn't been fully utilized, and the fact that we have classic Sonic and this other character representing a different gameplay style, I think making a modern Sonic game based solely around the boost wouldn't be an easy thing to do. For one thing, the boost formula itself is flawed from a development standpoint. Modern Sonic is the fastest we've seen Sonic, and using that boost can really make his games feel short. The levels themselves would have to be huge to accommodate that boost, as a fast character blasting through a level would mean longer and bigger levels to complement that speed, so it won't be over and done with in mere seconds or less than a minute. Sonic Team doesn't want to stray from what's been tried and true for success, but the boost getting stale would be a problem as well, unless the levels gave you more control instead of a constant speed booster and sequences with virtually non-existent difficulty, because look at how short and easy Generations was. Sonic Team is probably trying to pad out that playtime and the game's overall pacing with classic Sonic and this third character, which does help in more ways than one. The whole boost to win mindset burns some people out on the boost, so they would need something else in there to break up that action. Classic Sonic and this third character's inclusion isn't all mindless cash grabs, though there must be a way to do modern Sonic justice without relying on classic Sonic or some new gameplay mechanic. If classic Sonic is used or expanded alongside modern Sonic in an interesting way, I think there could be some leeway the fans will give, but knowing the Sonic fandom, that's as unlikely as Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door HD. In my opinion, if that is the case, I'm completely fine with it. I mean, again, I love classic Sonic and his gameplay, but it bothers a lot more people than it bothers me. But you'll have to understand, an entire game surrounding modern Sonic alone would not only feel short as hell, but very shallow. And they'd either have to readjust the gameplay style entirely, or use an accompanying style, which is classic Sonic and this third character. So using classic Sonic as a springboard works in some ways because people enjoyed his gameplay in Generations. And if this third gameplay style somehow fails, we still have classic and modern Sonic's gameplay styles to fall back on, even though the quality of the overall game would be diminished. If not, we also have a great third gameplay style, breaking that tension and improving the game's pacing. So having these two in here is smarter than one would be led to believe. But another thing, I think what most fans want is a modern Sonic game with real 3D platforming, not just boost and high speed, but platforming elements with explorative elements, much like the adventure games. because a lot of people forget Sonic is a platformer at his core, and he's not all about speed. Adventure had that fast-paced gameplay, but with platforming elements much like a lot of open-world games back in the 90s and early 2000s, even though Sonic is mostly getting from point A to point B. And I think we might be close to getting that sort of gameplay, because look at Sonic Unleashed. That game had more 3D sections than 2D compared to Generations of Colors, and that game was more platforming-centric as well. Also, this game is being run with an updated Hedgehog engine, the same engine the Boost is being used that was originating from Unleashed, but upgraded to the Hedgehog engine too. And if you look at Sonic while he's boosting, how he has those light blue lines defined, and also when he homing attacks, how those little lines and the little blue sparks come out, that's how the homing attack was originally supposed to look like in Unleashed. If this game has stages more akin to Unleashed's daytime stages, I'm positive this game will have much better reception than the fans are leading on saying no one wanted the boost gameplay, it sucked. They want the adventure style gameplay instead. Yet again, that nostalgia factor isn't different when compared to classic Sonic, and especially considering the fact
Boost.
Then why did you ask for it?
you asked for the boost gimmick back! Don't go acting like you never wanted something you were begging to come back! Despite the concerns and issues of the boost gameplay still worked. People loved it, it was fun. You Sonic fans were the same ones asking for the boost to come back. I know there are a couple of you out there who was never fond of the boost gameplay to begin with, but a majority of you were. You're about as confused as what you guys want than what Sonic wants to be, and this game is more expansive than we're led to believe. Takashi Iizuka said there are multiple paths for us to go on in levels, much like Sonic 3 Knuckles, Colors, Generations, Adventure, etc. So this could likely be more explorative and expansive than what we thought was linear. Seriously, all we got was roughly 40 seconds of gameplay total, and a 3-second teaser of the brand new character, 33 seconds of modern Sonic gameplay, and 6 seconds of classic Sonic gameplay. We know that Eggman took over 99% of the world and Sonic and friends are trying to take it back. Eggman's actually claimed victory in this game using a power source we've yet to see, and is just a mere 1% away from total world domination. Boom Sonic is not going to be in this game. Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Team Chaotix, and Silver will be in this game. Time travel will likely play a factor in this, as space may be distorted because why else is Green Hill sandy? Why sand? Does it start from there and we get to the ruined city Sonic runs through? Because the landscape surrounding the city looks a lot like Green Hill Zone. Or is it the other way around, where we start in the modern Sonic stage, then go back to the classic Sonic stage? There seems to be some exposition involved, and if it's the level of Unleashed story, let alone the gameplay has Unleashed vibes, this game is going to be a great Sonic game. Also, what if they answered that boost to win issue by adding the Wisps? The Wisps were used to boost in Sonic Colors, whereas in Generations you get rings and plow through enemies to get a boost instead. And I think that's a good solution to have if that's the case. And what about this other character? The most popular theory, or joke I should say, of this character is Bubsy. And guys, not only is this a joke, but Bubsy is dead. Sega doesn't even own Bubsy, and people are actually buying into this. You need to realize it's a joke, and you need to calm down. But this cat, this wolf-looking character, like, what is he? He has a major role in the plot that we still need more info on. And what about this third gameplay style that he'll bring to the table? It's too early to judge his quality or moves or looks or anything about him or her, because people are saying he/she looks bland, yet we've only seen the back of this character in a shadow-like silhouette. The director of this game is none other than Morio Kishimono, who also worked as a designer behind Sonic and the Secret Rings, Sonic and the Black Knight, and Sonic Colors, and was the director for Lost World as well. The gameplay will not only be about Sonic reaching the goal, but also by having a time limit in the levels, which is nothing new because the classic games had a time limit of 10 minutes, and this could either hint at a time attack mode, or classic Sonic having this time limit, or using the time limit in all three styles. If it's like that, then that's not really a problem, other than maybe becoming annoying for any explorers willing to search this game. Also, this game is continuing the 25th anniversary trend of Sonic along with Sonic Mania, so these are still anniversary titles, despite the 25th anniversary ending. Not only that, this new character will have been the first character in a Sonic anniversary title that's not a Hedgehog. We got Shadow in Sonic Adventure 2, the 10th anniversary, we got Silver the Hedgehog in Sonic 06, the 15th anniversary, and we got Classic Sonic in Generations, the 20th anniversary. And who knows, maybe this character will have that adventure style gameplay. I can imagine him being around as fast as Tails or Knuckles, both of which were playable in the adventure games and were reasonably quick. Not as fast as Sonic, but still explorative and fast-paced, and if it's something entirely new, this other style of gameplay could end up being great as well. We don't know for sure, and we still don't know a lot about this game, but we're gonna get a lot more information at E3. Iizuka said so cool your jets and wait until then to actually judge the game. It's getting a demo too, so stop acting like it's the end of the world. Also, Iizuka said classic Sonic's gameplay is being adjusted and having a brand new twist to it. There's something they're adding to classic Sonic's gameplay that we don't know about. We're gonna see that at E3 too. What we saw in the trailers is the alpha build. Some of you might be saying Green Hill Zone looked worse than in Generations. That's the alpha build. We're gonna get more details, more graphic styles of this game at E3. Also, people act like Sega does not know what they're doing, yet they do. Not just with modern and classic Sonic and what else Forces has to offer, but Sonic Mania can serve as an example too. Not long ago, Sega product manager Jim Dyer spoke up about the Sonic franchise and its less than stellar transition into 3D in recent years, noting the mixed reception of Lost World and its more exploration-based gameplay, or I don't know, maybe the fact that it looks like Mario Galaxy. Dyer says that Force is meant to be, and I quote, a different sort of Sonic than what we've done before. It is about reinvigorating Sonic. By going back to the boost formula, we intend to build it further to make it and the franchise something greater. Sonic is a franchise that we've tried to evolve, but it hasn't necessarily worked. I can openly say that. Generations and Colors were huge successes within the modern world, but it is about taking modern Sonic and making it something more. He says that while Sonic Mania itself is meant for the nostalgic and Sonic fan at heart, the Sonic Forces title is meant to be a lot more than that, meant to serve a greater purpose. He mentions that making Sonic relevant again might not be the right word, but he says the company does realize Sonic is its flagship IP, and they have to get this franchise back to where it should be in the world. Stating the following, his exact words were, Sonic Mania is for the fans. The plan with Sonic Forces, bringing Forces out soon after, is that it is a Sonic game for everyone. Sonic Mania is one for the fans, either because of nostalgia or for people who just love the brand, or for kids that recognize the character. Sonic Forces is its own initiative. It is a broader game, a different sort of Sonic than what we've done before. It is about reinvigorating Sonic. I won't say Forces is about making Sonic relevant again, because I don't think that's quite the right term, but we understand we have a flagship IP. This brand powerhouse that Sega wants to get back to what it should be. They know Sonic has been a laughingstock. They know Sonic has been suffering, whether it be the dark scars of 06, the Hedgehog backlash, the Lost World aka Lost Potential, the boom in Sonic Boom, and whatever else. And they see they need to get Sonic back to its former glory, like how people thought so with Colors. They're admiring their humility and reality of loss, and they're fixing their blind, prideful, egotistical ways. Sonic Mania looks amazing, and it's getting pushed back. A Sonic game getting pushed back to make sure it's perfect for release? How often do you see that? And not only that, but Sonic Mania is being developed by a longtime fan of Sonic, Christian Whitehead. And because of him, the fans' responses and pleas for the classic Sonic fandom, we're getting a brand new high-quality classic Sonic game. Another thing is Sonic Forces started development when Lost World finished production back in 2013. Most Sonic games are developed for roughly 2-3 years. This game is being developed for almost 4, and it has been a while since we got a mainline Sonic game. Sonic Forces looks crisp, it looks clean, it runs 1080p, 60 frames per second, the modern Sonic level looked fantastic, Green Hill Zone looks nice, not as detailed as Generations, but still good. Classic Sonic has his twirling animation when he jumps on the spring from Sonic Mania and CD. Sonic Team, Christian Whitehead, and Sega are taking their time with these Sonic games, and that's something Sega and the Sonic fandom is not used to. Time and effort is being taken into these two games, and I'm excited to see that. They know that not only is Sonic their flagship IP, but Sonic is a flagship IP in the video game industry as a whole. We could joke all we want about Sonic. Sonic is a key staple within the video game industry, and it's good to see they're trying to get Sonic back on that path. Back to his former glory. They're trying to get him back to what people loved about him, preferably the modern Sonic games. I cannot wait to get Forces and Mania for the Switch and PS4, and I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope you guys understand and see we still know very little about the game, and it's too early to judge. E3's in 2 months, and there's going to be lots of info revealed, so at least wait until then. And there is a chance Sega may be holding out on an adventure-esque 3D platforming Sonic game due to their lack of confidence within that, or just trying to go with the safe and smart route instead. Or again, that could be the third character's gameplay. I mean, now that we have Sonic Boom, they can use that series and get more experimental with the franchise. without too many repercussions as if they used regular Sonic. Maybe Super Mario Odyssey will encourage them to test that style out again and invoke some confidence in the regular Sonic, and maybe get a 3D platforming Sonic that's fast and not a bundled mess that Lost World was, because there's no question Super Mario Odyssey will do amazing this holiday. But to sprinkle Sonic on top of that, for me, just makes this Christmas of 2017 all the more hype. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you stick around for more Things Sonic, my Road to Sonic Mania series, and other gaming videos as well. Have a great weekend, and stay super.